Hello students, in today's video we are going to discuss about role of government in business. Now business is not an independent activity. It is dependent on many factors and every business organization is indirectly controlled by government. That is, government has certain plans, policies and certain strategies for development of business. So let us now understand what is the role of government in business. First is government acts as a regulator of business activities. Now government regulates economic activities and also controls functioning of business through various regulations and laws. The legal procedures and provisions of government, they are spread from when the business organization starts. That is, once you think of starting the business till you think of closing the business, you have to follow certain rules and regulations. Now for example, if you want to set up a company, so then you have to follow Companies Act. Okay, so this Companies Act will define how a company can be established, how you can raise capital, how you have to issue shares, who can be the director, who can be the shareholders. Okay, all such rules and regulations are given in that act. So any individual who is thinking of starting a company has to compulsorily abide by the Companies Act. So like this, government controls business activity. Similarly, if you want to shut down the business, you cannot just close your shutters and say that your business has ended or you have closed down the business. No, there are certain legal procedures that a person has to follow in order to close the business. So like this, government regulates business activities right from the promotion till the final stage of liquidation. Now, this regulatory system is determined by the economic system which is adopted by a company. In the previous videos, we have studied different types of economic system, that is communist, capitalist and mixed. So when it comes to communist pattern of economic system, the regulatory mechanism is very strict. That is, government is very strict in terms of doing any economic or business activities. But when it comes to capitalist model which is adopted by USA, you can see that there are very few regulations, right? But in our country we have mixed economy. Okay, it is neither too strict, it is neither too lenient. So government has got sufficient control over economic activities in the country. Okay, these regulatory measures are determined to achieve socio-economic objectives, that is growth with social justice. These regulatory measures are undertaken by government basically to ensure that economic benefits will reach all the sections of society. Now when it comes to capitalist form of economic system, in that case what happens is rich start becoming more richer and poor remain poor. So to have a proper balance, some party is required to have a balance between the two. So government plays a major role in regulating all the economic activities. Now how this regulation is done by the government? It is done through by exercising economic planning and economic policies. Now you might have studied about 5-year plans and annual budgets. Now 5-year plan is nothing but government makes plan for a period of 5 years in which it determines what will be the priority of economic development. Now economic planning decides priority areas of development and investment that has to be made in the sectors of agriculture, industry, service, and targets which are to be achieved in each area are decided and determined by the government. Now initially more importance was given to agriculture. Now with changing time, importance of industries and service sector is improving. So accordingly, government will have 5-year plan. Economic policies are the policies that states the direction in which business has to move. Okay, apart from that, government is having monetary, fiscal, trade, finance policies under which provisions and procedures are laid down how to carry the business. Okay, apart from that, Companies Act, SEBI, FEMA, Industrial Development Act, Industries Licensing, Income Tax Act, Indirect Tax, that is GST, all these acts are framed by the government to regulate the functioning of business in India. All this is required so that to ensure that business activities are improving or they are growing in the direction which is needed, and people are not engaging themselves in some illegal business activities. So in this manner, government acts as a regulator of business activities. Now, next role that is played by the government is government as a promoter. Now, whether it is a developed or developing economy, the role of government as a promoter is very important. Government is directly responsible for developing infrastructure, which is utmost important for the development of business. Power, transport, finance, communication, water, etc. is the basic infrastructure facilities which will support industrial development, and government takes initiative in developing these areas. Government can either itself develop these infrastructure facilities, or it might invite private investment in these areas by offering incentives. Before 1990s, that is before LPG, it was government who was sole promoter of infrastructure like roads, power, communication, etc. But today we have private transport operators. Except for railways, we have people who are into transporting business. Right now, we have public buses as well as private buses. We have private planes as well as public planes. Except for railways, we can see there is private investment in transportation facilities. When it comes to communication, we have got BSNL, which is again a public sector entity. Then we also have Airtel, Vodafone, and so on. Even construction and maintenance of roads is given to private entrepreneurs through agreement. Not completely, but through some agreements are given even for maintaining roads. So like this, government is very plays an important role as a promoter of infrastructure facilities. Infrastructure is very much essential for carrying out any business activity. If you do not have proper infrastructure facilities, as in if you do not have proper roads, proper communication channel, then business cannot flourish effectively. So it is very important that infrastructure facilities are properly developed, and government is promoting infrastructure facilities properly. Next is role of government as an entrepreneur. Now, government also plays the role of entrepreneur by promoting public sector enterprises. Now, when it comes to underdeveloped and developing economies which have poor per capita income, they cannot attract private investment, particularly in core industries, because people do not have additional income. So when they do not have income, so they will not invest in companies. So in that case, government itself has to take initiative in promoting such ventures. Now, these public sector enterprises are established to achieve economic growth and also to avoid consumer exploitation. Now, government in India, whether it is central government or state government, has played an active role in building state enterprises. Especially the first and second 5-year plan has given importance for development of enterprises in the areas of steel, oil, chemical, fertilizers, even hotels. Now, India is having many public sector enterprises like SAIL, BHEL, fact, and there and you can see that we have popular nationalized banks. Even today, people trust nationalized banks more than private banks. So here, government is playing an important role as entrepreneur by promoting industries in the field of steel, oil, chemical, fertilizers. Okay, then government is also handling railways, defense industry. So there, government is acting as entrepreneur. Okay, next is government as planner. Now, government can play an active role by undertaking economic planning for entire country. These economic plans determine what will be the economic objectives, policies, goals, investment priorities, strategies, etc. Through these plans documents, government can give directions to business and public and private sector as to what should be the economic agenda of the society. Now India has adopted 5-year planning model which is copied from Russia. So this 5 years plan was the main strategy which was adopted by a country to achieve economic development. Now 5-year plan in India, it started after independence. The first 5-year plan was started from 1951 to 56. Like this, each 5-year plan will have its own priorities like development in agriculture, growth of industries and service sector, reduction of poverty, increase in GDP and per capita income, etc. So like this, government can play an important role by acting as a planner. As we have mixed economic system, so in that case government plays an important role to plan the policies and programs to promote all the sectors of economy. Until and unless government plans properly, there cannot be proper growth and development in the nation. So like this, government plays an important role in business. So with this I conclude for today. Thank you.